Brought to you by Penguin.
Darling by India Knight, read by Sophie Winkleman. Chapter 1. I found an old photograph of us all at Alkenley, a 6x4 print, tattered with age but as vivid to me as flashing neon. It was taken at breakfast 20-odd years ago, and as I gaze at it with that rush of yearning you get when you look at old pictures, it's loss, really, an ache, the feeling that you can never go back, that time has fled and that you are bereft. I can smell the coffee pot sputtering on the Aga, feel the worn waxed oak of the kitchen table, hear the soft pad-pad of the dogs fossicking for crumbs on the rug beneath it. I can hear my cousin Linda, too, as clearly as if she was standing next to me, her laughter laced with indignation. Oh, I remember that picture. I wanted really short shorts that made your bottom hang out, but Ma got me those giant old man dungarees from a charity shop instead and cut them off at the knee, and I was supposed to be pleased. There were always 2 teapots at breakfast, one yellow and chipped containing PG tips for Uncle Matthew, and one printed with small sponge-ware donkeys containing Aunt Sadie's loose-leaf Assam. In the picture, Uncle Matthew is triumphant because he has finished the crossword, which usually involved getting fed up halfway through and writing in words like batto or corpid to complete the clues that eluded him. Then he would push the paper aside with a satisfied grunt and carry on with his medium-boiled eggs with toast, 6 minutes exactly. This occasioning a fudgy yolk, the only acceptable kind. All other eggs were denounced furiously, compared to phlegm or worse, and liable to be hurled. Occasionally one of Uncle Matthew's children would glance over at the nonsensical crossword and say, "But Pa, what's mirons?" And he'd reply that mirons was mirons, in a very categorical way that, like Uncle Matthew himself, brooked no dissent. We sort of believed him about mirons because we all, adults and children alike, constantly made up words ourselves. Sometimes in adulthood we'd use the words in the outside world and be surprised to find they weren't real to other people, or at least that their meaning wasn't as immediately, glaringly obvious to them as it was to us. Grubel, for instance, meant to touch or paw in an annoying or overly intimate way, as in, "Ma, she won't stop grubling my pencil case," or, when we were older, "Did you meet the husband?" bit grubly. As well as the words, there were endless phrases. If people were short, all the Radletts were long-limbed and rangy and viewed short people with fascination and envy. "It must be so cosy to be short," Linda said. We'd say they were still growing, even if they were adults. "What's she like?" Dark hair, hazel eyes, still growing, very nice." If people were clingy, we'd say they wouldn't flush. Anyway, here we all are. My beautiful cousin Linda, also known as Linny, Linoleum, Lino, Linguini, McCartney, Macca, sometimes Paul, is looking crossly at a dish of sausages, the presence of which suggests that the photograph was taken when the Radletts still kept a few pigs, a short-lived enterprise that perished when Linda's vegetarianism became militant. Or perhaps she is cross at the thought of her dungarees. Aunt Sadie had told her that she looked very sweet. Jassy had said that she looked like someone American who lives in the woods whose brother is also her husband. "I can't believe my own mother dresses me like an incest," Linda had cried. Aunt Sadie had snorted with laughter at this and told them both not to be so silly, but said, "Howdy, y'all," every time she looked at Linda that morning. Uncle Matthew shouted that he was against incest in all its forms and that shooting was too good for them, enraging Linda further by directing the mark at her with a disgusted look on his face. Jassy, chewing languidly on a toothpick, kept telling Linda that they were kin and that Miss Linda was mighty pretty. By lunchtime the dungarees had been discarded, which Linda said was actually a shame because the bib pocket had made a perfect home for her mouse, Lucky Fernandez. Here is 12-year-old Jassy, clear-eyed and wild-haired, looking straight at the camera with an amused and detached expression, as if to say, "I don't know who these people are or why I am among them, but I don't mind for now." Louisa, the eldest, is sketching something on the back of an envelope, most probably a girl wearing normal teenage clothes, these being denied us in favour of not only dungarees, but also corduroy trousers and hand-me-down jerseys, an injustice most acutely felt by
Sample complete. Ready to continue?